And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I was really pumped to get Unfair. This is a game about building an amusement park and then messing with other people's amusement parks. But the idea of amusement park is a great one. My favorite, well, not my favorite, but one of my favorite computer games is Roller Coaster Tycoon. I love how that game comes together. I love the idea of roller coasters. I love to go to amusement parks, and there's so few board games about them. Not to mention, this game got stellar reviews when it was on Kickstarter, and then Cool Mini or Not snagged it, so I was feeling pretty good about this one. So when I opened it up, I was kind of surprised at how good the artwork is. Phenomenal, really neat components. Man, this is just firing on all cylinders. Let's check it out. There's actually two boards in this game. There's the very brightly colored board here, and then there's the other side. Basically, one is if you're on one side of the table, everything's facing one way. The other one, it's facing two different directions. So I'm just showing this one here. Now what you're going to do is you're going to pick the themes of your amusement park. The game comes with pirate, jungle, vampire, robot, ninja, and gangster. I'm not sure I've ever been to a vampire theme park, but whatever. You're going to pick one per player. So let's say we pick gangster, and vampire, and robot. Now, each one comes with a card, and this card doesn't really mean much. It just kind of shows you, this one doesn't give much money, but has large attractions, and unfairness level is not that high. These cards are not really needed. You're then going to separate the rest of the cards into piles. A lone card, each player is going to get a lone card that at the beginning of the game is fine, but at any point you want, you can use it to get 5 coins, but every time you take 5 coins, you're losing 10 points. You can never pay this loan off, so each player has one of these. Also, there is a gate card in each one, so each player is going to have a gate card. This is kind of your starting card. It gives your park 1 star, tells you your guest capacity is 15. You can have 5 attractions, 1 super attraction, and basically that's that. These showcase cards will get shuffled, and each player will get 2 of them. These are humongous rides. You need 5 stars in your park to be able to build these, and a good chunk of money. You'll notice they cost 20 each. In fact, if you can't build them at some point during the game, you figure you're not going to build them, you are allowed to discard them both to get $10 or 10 coins. You can only ever build one of them anyway. Then there are some city cards and some funfair city cards and unfair city cards. These cards are going to be shuffled together, and a deck is going to be made of them that's going to be placed here in the middle. These cards at first will do good things for everyone. Everyone gets an extra 3 stars. For everyone, you can draw a park card and keep it. But later on in the game, they're going to get unfun. So from the park cards in your hand, choose one to keep, discard the others. For each ride attraction in your park, demolish the upgrade built closest to the attraction card. Close all attractions that do not have guest services attached to them. So that's going to be here. This is also a way to keep track of the game. Then we have event cards. There's going to be all sorts of event cards that are shuffled into the deck. Event cards have a regular side part of them and a hit someone else side. So here, build an upgrade from your hand for free. Yay! Or here, discard to block someone else doing something mean to you. Search the park, discard pile, and choose a card, put it in your hand. Or choose a guest services upgrade in someone else's park and blow it up. So there's all sorts of different events. A lot of these events are in every deck. There's a few that are specifically themed. And then there are blueprint cards. As the game goes by, for about the first half of the game, if you want to, you'll be able to draw blueprint cards. And if you do what it says on them, you will get a certain amount of points. But if you don't, you will lose a certain amount of points. Like, for example, here, if you finish this, you'll get 25. But if you don't, you'll lose 10. And they also sometimes have a bonus thing on them that you can do. Halfway through the game, you can no longer get more blueprint cards unless it's a special thing. And finally, the park cards. This is all the different rides and other things in the park. These cards are going to be attractions. Attractions are a certain type. So for example, this here is a thrill ride. It's going to cost 6 coins to put out, and it's worth a star. Other attractions, this is a leisure ride. It's 2 stars and costs 8 to put out. Here's a theater, an animatronic show. Sometimes they come with special abilities. Here's a food outlet, a fast food restaurant. You also will have a chance to upgrade these. These cards, this is an upgrade of a theme. So I might want to add a robot theme to my animatronic show. In fact, I'm allowed to put one on it for free. So I would put it like this as I upgrade it. Maybe I'll add a vending machine to it later on. And maybe superior quality. Why am I doing this? Because at the end of the game, each ride is going to be worth points. Each attraction is going to be worth points based on the number of icons here. You can have as many upgrades to an attraction as you want. You just can't have upgrades that are the exact same, with the exception of superior quality. You can be superior quality. So everything in here is going to be that. There's also some staff members. These don't count as attractions. They're worth points at the end of the game and also give you special bonuses for them. And as I said, each deck is going to have different things. So I was just showing you stuff from one of the decks. This is from the vampire decks. You can see this one has a haunted house and a maze of mirrors. A licensed character here is worth points at the end of the game. A bat wing element here for your roller coasters. You can only add that to a thrill ride. Air conditioning, deluxe and premium quality. That's better than superior quality. Or just adding a vampire theme to something. So players are going to be trying to build these. Now, how does the game actually work? Like I said, these cards here are going to keep track of the rounds. And then this roller coaster piece is going to move here to keep track of what's going to happen each time. In fact, I have to say, this is a really cool round piece. You can see here the guys raising their hands. I just really like this piece. So first there's an event phase. Everyone's going to draw an event, and then the city event is going to go off, whether it's positive or negative, and everyone will do whatever it says. And then you players have a chance to play event cards from their hand. Once players are done playing event cards, everyone is going to get 3 actions, although some event cards will have given some players 4th actions. Most of the actions are going to be drawing cards here from the market. There's going to be different cards up here that players can draw those into their hand, or you can build straight from there if you have the money. And by the way, the money in this game is all different shaped sizes to help keep and differentiate what you're doing. You're going to be trying to get money to build these, and you can build them in front of you, which will give you stars and different things like that. You can also draw more event cards. You can draw blueprint cards, so that shuts down, and so on and so forth. So players will be taking these 3 actions. When that's done, each player is going to get money from their park, and they're going to add up all the stars on all their rides plus attractions. You can't go over 15 because that's the most guests you can have unless you have a card that gives you more guests. You will take that much money, and then you will have that for future turns. And then there's some cleanup phase. These get wiped away. The market gets refilled, etc., etc. So the game is basically going to be managing these cards here, putting them in front of you, thinking about the end of the game where these icons are going to give you points, but also during the game where they'll have special abilities possibly, and stars which are going to give you points. Now at the end of the game there's going to be some scoring, and there's a scoring card. The number of icons that you have on a ride is going to give you a lot of points. Now you notice here, if you have 16 different icons, it's 130 points. Well, that's really difficult to do. But they went up to 25 icons. I'm not even sure that's possible. You'd probably have to be playing a 6-player game to even have that many things to put on a ride. But you can. But you can see how 1 gives you 5, while 9 gives you 46. So this is something to keep in mind. You also get points for your blueprints if you completed them. So maybe this blueprint here, I need to have any thrill ride with a guest service upgrade and a food outlet. If I have those in front of me at the end of the game, 15 points. Also, if I have attractions with star totals of 1, 2, 3, and 4 stars exactly, I'll get an extra 22 points. If I didn't do the first part, I will lose 10 points. Money becomes points at the end of the game. 2 coins becomes 1 point. Some of your staff members, you saw them, are worth points. And if you took out a loan at all, you will lose points. That's pretty much the game. The only other thing to show you is that there are some of these cards in here where you can basically change main rules of the game. You can play World Peace where you can't do negative things to each other, or you can get rid of event cards completely, or you can start the game with some blueprints, etc. And these are just kind of rules to throw in there. There's also some other tokens in the game. You can use these tokens to randomly determine which themes are going to be in the park. There's dice included with the game. These are used in the gangster theme deck. A few things kind of let you gamble for money. That's how you play. As I said, I really like the component quality of this. I love the artwork on the cards. I love how the coins are shaped in different sizes. I like the backs of the cards. The whole thing's easy to sort out. When you're done, there's a bit of maybe of annoyance to sort them back into their decks. But in the very bottom of each card, you can see a little, like this is N for ninja. And so I thought the theming of the decks was pretty good, although there's a lot of the same cards in every deck. And I guess they did that so those same cards would be in every game. But, so the theming of them was not as strong as maybe I would have liked, like the jungle one. Yeah, it didn't feel like jungle. I thought the gangster might have been the most strongly themed deck just because there's rolling of dice and such. The idea of building these in front of you is a good one. I like the idea of building the rides. And do you want to build rides and kind of evenly spread out, or do you want to make one mega ride out there? Do you want to get money as quickly as possible? It really reminded me a little bit of Roller Coaster Tycoon, the board game, where you're trying to get things that bring in money so you can build more rides. And then just talking about the rides you build, it's very fun theming. The game itself, and the blueprints almost has like a Ticket to Ride feel. If you get these specific things, you will get them. And so I was like, yes, okay, we have a great theme, and then we have some fun mechanisms. But, and I hate to say this, but, because the game itself is called Unfair, right? No going in, Tom. What's the game called? It's Unfair. But you know what? I don't want to play Unfair. I want to play Funfair. And so I get that. Maybe you like Unfair. But I'll tell you what. That event card deck is infuriating. That event card deck, the bottom half of each card where you can just slap other players around. You built that, boom, it's gone. You did that, boom, it's gone. You did that, cool, it's gone. And you might be able to protect yourself, but you might not be. And so the game has cards where you are mean to other players, not to better yourself, not to make yourself better, but just for the pure sake of being mean. This really cool build an amusement theme park has this absolutely inane take that element to it. And suddenly I was like, what? I thought all these reviewers who hate take that games would be, why are they liking this? This is the same thing as a game where you just take that all over the place. And I think maybe the theme was just so strong for people that they liked it despite this, but it's not for me. I love the theme of building a roller coaster and a merry-go-round and all that jazz. And it's not fun to build something just to watch other people knock it down. And you say, wait, Vasel, there's a world peace card in the game. You're right. There is. And I've played that way. And then we run into another problem. So you don't use the bottom half of the event cards. You're only using the top half. And you know what? Those top half cards are really, really unbalanced. So I get this one. Choose a card from the market and put in your hand. That's not that great because you still have to build it later on. Search the park discard pile and choose a card. That's bigger than the market, unless, of course, there's nothing in here. Gain 5 coins. That's a really handy one, especially with a game where money is super tight. So you're looking for this specific card. Build an upgrade from your hand for free. That's even better than the 5 coins because I might have an upgrade that costs 15. How are those comparable? I don't understand that. If I draw the build the upgrade card for free and you get put one in your hand, who's doing better? Me! And then here I can take 4 actions. That sounds great, but many times your actions are just drawing extra cards. Gain an extra coin for each guest visiting your park. This could essentially double your money. Again, some of these cards were just amazingly powerful. And what we found ourselves doing was we're like, oh, well, my park's not getting a lot of money, so I'm going to draw some event cards and try to get money from them. See, because one of the other cards is take the event card deck out of the game completely. But if you do that, the game is just a slog to get anything done. I like events. I like interesting things, but they didn't feel balanced. And they're also really mean and nasty. And then there's the events, the city events. At first, they're fun. Everyone gets some things. And then near the end of the game, they're unfun, right? Where they're just smashing everybody. And you say, well, that's right. You can prepare for that. But that's the thing. I can't. When you turn one over and it says, close all the food attractions. Well, that's what I have. How was I supposed to know that card was going to come up? How am I supposed to know to prepare for that? And I decided to go food attractions this time, and you didn't. So who's getting nailed? I am. Not to mention the blueprints. What a great idea. But you know what? You can draw a blueprint and be like, I finished this one already. I got it. Or, oh, I'll never be able to do this. Again, there's a ton of luck in this game. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. It brings the theme park, amusement park, roller coasters, screaming people. It brings that to life and does a great job. But it has such a huge amount of randomness. This event deck for me was just rivetingly unfun. Boy, that's the obvious joke, right? And when I play a game like this, I want to build something. I want to see when I'm done and say, look what I've done. But in this game, it was too easy for not just the game to beat you down, for other players to beat you down. This was an incredible disappointment for me, because when I played it, I was like, wow, this game is really fun. And then it turned into not fun. And then I said, all right, let's cut out the negative events. Still wasn't fun. Too much randomness just kind of blew this one for me. So maybe a lot of people out there are going to like it. I feel like the game is a little too long for a Take That game. It says 25 minutes per player. We'll say half hour per player, but for 4 players, that's a 2-hour game. That's a long time for a lot of this randomness, and you can then be out of the game. You know, I like the idea of building a huge ride, but if someone can just go and blow up parts of that ride, there's a card that lets you destroy someone's whole ride. They have to spend a lot of event cards to do it, but they can, and they can take away a ton of points from you. A lot of neat stuff in this game. A lot of great stuff. But the end product is just not in my wheelhouse. It might be yours. There will be some people, I think, who will love this, who love the smashing each other down. But my thing about building an amusement park is always like, what can we do with it? Not, how can I destroy yours? For like no benefit to myself. That's the thing. I'm hurting other people, and it doesn't, all right, no. I don't like it. You might. I'm still looking for the perfect amusement park game. Dice Tower Judgment, disappointingly just not as good as I wanted it to be.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door!